When was cribbage created? Early 1600s. Dang, it's been around a long time. Alright, so I have collected many decks of cards throughout my day just to show you my obsession with cards back when I did card tricks. And today I'm teaching you the concept of how cribbage works. I know you guys really liked my cribbage video that I posted that was a few seconds, cribbage short, and today I want to teach you guys exactly how to play cribbage. As you know, cribbage has been around a very long time. There has been a few ways that I adapted into playing it, and there can be some house rules on it, just like there can be any game. And I've never really thought about house rules for a game like cribbage because it's a game that's kind of to its core something I learned a long time ago. So the way the game starts out. I use my bicycle cards to show you. The way the game starts out. Crap cards. What you do is you have, the way, this game you don't win with the royal flush, okay? You win with 3 5s in your starter hand and a jack, okay? And the card in the jack is in your hand. If it doesn't match the 3 5s and shoot, and then you pull up another 5 when the deck is cut, guess what? You got the highest hand in cribbage. Let me explain how that all works. Because this game is a little bit complicated at first when you're first learning it. But I've gotten people to understand it within the first, I dropped the damn card. Within the first, few minutes of the game. Well, not a few minutes, but it took a while to get the concept. So to start out here, let me see here. To start out, you got jacks. You got 5s. And that's the most important cards in this game are 5s, 10s, 8, 7s. And those are what's double round. Those are runs. Now when you're actually dealing out of hand, okay, the way it works is you can be dealt, you're dealing, you can be dealt any random amount of cards. It really does not matter how many, what you're going to be dealt. Because the skill of the game is to count your hand right and to play the right cards at the right time. And for getting that hand that I just mentioned with, the end result being the best hand in the cribbage, it's very, very low chance that you're going to get it. So the odds are very slim. But to get it, you have to, drawn it, and it's a very, very low in 1 chance you're going to get it. So, but let me explain how this game works now that I'm kind of giving you the idea of how low a hand that is. To start out the game, okay, there's a cribbage board, and there's several different designs with what you can have a cribbage board look like. I showed this one off in my quick short, but this is like a fish, and it has all the holes in it, and it basically pegs it where to go. There's other cribbages where there's 3 of these, where there's one like that, another one, right? And some cribbage can be played, I think, with 3 to 4 players, okay? Now, and here's a more basic looking cribbage board. Looks something like this. Okay? And that's when there's more spots for, like, you know, because that was more of a fancier souvenir I got. So this kind of counts when you're doing like a skunk thing, if you're playing more than one game. These ones back here count the skunks and everything. Okay? So, the way this starts out, you're dealing your hands. So let's say when you start out, you're not knowing what you're going to be dealt with, just right. So, your hands. Let me go over the hands. Basic hands. 1, 2 10s, for example. We'll use this as an example. That's a pair. That is called pair for 2. So guess what? Pair for 2, 2 points. And when you say 2, that means 2 points. You move 2 peg spaces on the board. So you would take a peg. You would take the peg, and you would go, here. Let me get a peg out of here. You can take a peg. Let me just do this for an example here. So these are what the pegs look like. They can be several different colors. Okay. Take a peg, and you go 1, 2. And there's always going to be 2 pegs for each player. These would be the ones that you count the how many times the skunk is going, how many times you got skunks if you're playing more than 2 games, you know, the things that are more important to keep track of. And those are more complicated, you know, more bigger things in the game. But in pure basics, skunk is just, if you get to a certain part of the board that you haven't reached before the other player wins, that's a skunk. And if you're playing a bunch of games, that matters, because it means you're out 2 games before the other player even wins. So it makes it a lot harder to get ahead of them if you get a skunk. You gotta play a lot of games. So anyway, back to the game. The pair, and now a pair of aces. Well, we're gonna have aces to give you guys an example here. So aces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 aces here, okay? These 4 aces is only worth 12 points in cribbage. It's not the highest hand, and the highest hand in this game is 29 points. Okay, now, let me tell you here. 2 aces, that's just 2 points. 3 aces, that's 6 points. 2, 4, 6. 4 aces, that's 12 points. That's the way you count the hand, and I haven't memorized because I played this game so many times. It goes like this: 2, 4, 6, and then 12. Once you have 4 of a kind, it's 12. Now let me show you another example here. We're gonna get out. Let's see, that, the jack, and we're gonna get out 3 other 5s here. Now 4 jacks and a 5 is not near as good a hand as 4 5s and a jack, especially if the jack is a knobs to all the 5s that's in your hand, and then the other 5. Because what knobs is when the jack in your hand matches the starter card. And that's why this is so hard to get it. Likely that it's going to happen is because that's why this is so unlikely. Is because in order to get the highest hand, you gotta have 3 5s and a jack in your hand, and then the other 2 cards go to the crib, right? They could be any other 2 cards. And why this is so random is because, see, it's really hard to get this camera to do this. Why this is so random is because, why this is so hard is because, let me pull out the 4 5s and show you here. I can show you what I mean. Okay, 5, right? 1, there we go. Okay. So, these are the 2 best hands in the game. So, we got 4 5s here, right? 4 5s, okay? Now, let me tell you. 4 5s, so this is going to be the best hand in cribbage here. Let's grab the Jack of Hearts, okay? Now, let's say you're dealt this in one hand. Okay, let's say, because you're dealt, when you're playing with at least, I usually like to play with 2 people. When you're playing with 2 people, you're usually dealt 6 cards each. So, if this is one of your hands, which this is a very low likelihood, what do you put your crib? Or the spectator's crib, depending on whose crib it is. You know, the other opponent's crib. So where do you put your crib? What do you put in the crib in this case? Well, 3 5s, 2 red jacks, and a 5. What you want to do, because you don't know what the starter card is going to be. Okay, you gotta get the best points with what you have in your hand, and the starter card is like a bonus. That's the way to look at it. Okay, so the starter card, it can be. So in this case, here's what you want to put in your crib. You want the Jack. So in this case, you want to have a Jack of Hearts, and then the other 3 5s need to be a different suit. So that means you put away these 2 cards in the crib, okay? So these cards go to the crib. And then the spectator would have whatever their cards are. And then, let's see, and then the starter card, okay? This right here, this example would show that. Let's say they cut right here, okay? This right here, let's say they cut by chance, cut that as a starter card. I'm just showing this as an example. This is 29 points. And this is how this is 29 points. Okay, cribbage is pretty complicated to count a hand like this, but just the 4 5s alone is like 14 points. Or no, 16 points. And plus the other 12 for the 4 pair is 28. Plus knobs with this, matching that card is 29, okay? That's how that 29 is his hand. And this is very, very unlucky. It's a lot more likely you're going to get ones that don't match that starter card than you are going to. So let me show you another couple different kinds of hands here, okay? The next one I'm going to show you is about the runs. And so it's about the rounds 15s and stuff. Okay. So what I just drew out here were different cards that make up runs. After I show you all the different hands, though, I'm going to get into the round of the game. So here anyway. So 7, 8, 9. So this right here, okay, that very base, this is a round. And a round can be 1, 2, ace, 2, 3. A round can be 4, 5, 6. A round can be any 3 that is sequential. However, you got to make sure you know how to count this, because there could be runs, and there could also be 15s. Let's say the starter card was a 6. The starter card was a 6. Well, we got one right there. Starter card was a 6. Well, then. So let's say here, okay, there's 15 between 4 and 4 is 8. Let's say if you didn't count those other 2 right there, it's another 4 point. This would have been an 8 point hand, okay? And when you're playing this in the real cribbage game, and you're playing this, not just playing this with a friend, you're really paying attention to counting, other players can take your other points that you miss. It's just the name of the game. Now back to the, this, okay? This is a run. Now let's add another, let's put it now, if we go 8 right here, that's what's called a double run. When you have a number, when you have a 7, 2 cards, and then that are in the next sequence. So 7, 8, 8, 9, that is a double run. Now, the way this double run is counted is like this. Run, run, pair. So when you count a double run, the pair and all that's included in the double run. And then 15s, so then in this case, this would be a total of a 12-point hand. 15-2, 15-4, and 8 is 12. Okay? Now, let me pull in this, okay? Now that's double run. Triple run. Not to be confused with quadruple run, because triple run would be 3, would be 7, 8, 8, 9. A quadruple run would be 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10. Or it could be anything in sequence, where 8, 8, 9, 9, 7, 6, 7, 8, 8, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. All that is double quadruple runs. And you can be dealt, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, you never know what you're going to be dealt, but you got to know how to count. That's the idea of cribbage. And it can get complicated sometimes, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty fun to count. So that's all basic to the hands, of the hand part. Now when you actually deal hand and all that stuff, I'll show you how that all works right now. So let's go ahead and deal out a couple hands. I'll give you an idea how to deal out 4, 5, 6 to each player. If you're playing with 2, it's a little different. With 3, it's a little different. When you're playing with 3, you deal 5 cards to each player. You cut one from the deck and put it in the crib, and each player gets 1. If you're playing with 2 people, each player gets 2, and then they cut for a starter card. So, but with either one, they're always cutting for the starter card. I like playing with 2 better, because playing with 3 just makes the game take longer, and it just makes it more time consuming, because every player, 3 players have to count their hands. You got to get one from the deck, so you don't. I don't know why. I'm just not a fan of the 3-hand cribbage. Anyway, that's just me. So let's see. Let's use an example of a hand, because you can be done. This is random, right? So let's say. So to count this hand, we got 3 9s here. Okay, this is one hand that I count. 3 9s. So that would be. In this case, that would be. And here's what I want to give away. I'd always want to give away the king and 2, because what if a 10 shows up? There's a chance of getting a triple run. So we put it there in the crib. Now the other player's crib, they would count their hand, and they would have. Wow, he got even better than I did. This goes there, okay? They put the 4 and the 3. Get rid of the 4 and the 3. Because in their hand they have 15-2, 15-4. 4, now let's say a 9 popped up. A 9 pops up. Guess what? Quadruple run. And that's for counting the cribs. Now we're going to count. Now we're going to show you how to do the pegging round. The pegging round is like this. Okay? This is the pegging round. Pegging round. This is pegging round. Pegging round, each player puts down a hand card. So they hold their card, and this is after they put their crib away, after they cut for the can, all that stuff. So you put your crib away, right? So let's say Jack, Queen. In this case, we're going to get keep. See, and by the way, aces in this game, you don't count as King, Queen, Ace in this game is not a run. It's aces are only counted as 1 in this game. So this would be like this. So in this case, you want to keep the 10 Jack Queen and 1 Ace, and again the run would only be the 10 Jack and Queen. Okay. Anyway, so that would be the crib. That'd be you put the crib away. The other player would put the crib away. Obviously, you can choose. Sometimes you also have to gamble a little bit, which brings the most in your hand. Sometimes it's hard to change. You have to kind of give it your best guess and put it away. Now, So here's how you do the pegging round. 10. The player puts one down. You want to start with 10. And the player chooses one. If they choose a queen, they get 2 points for the peg. So let's say they don't have a queen, so they're going to go 20. If I have a 10, which I do, I got 20 for 3. 30 for 3. And then the other player, like they have an ace, 31 for 2. And then, it starts out, and then if it goes in number value, if it goes above 31, it can't go above 30, so it can't go above 31. So you have to get it as close to that as you can with the cards that you have. Jacks, 10s, or face value, kings are face value, which are 10. Or actually, no, not face value. Kings are 10, jacks are 10, queens are 10, and number value. Okay? But in their sequential value, they're rounds and stuff, so they're not. It's not like poker, where there's there's flushes in this game, yes, but it's not nearly really high like it is in poker. You might get, 5-10 points for it or something like that. So, and I forgot to tell you how to count flushes. Flushes are for this same suit, and if the star card is a suit, you get 4 plus 5, which is 9. So, let's see here. We got 10, jack, 10, 9, jack. Okay. So, that's how to count the pegging. So now, the way it works is you just kind of go through until you keep hitting 31. And if you get 31, you get 2. These go through like this, where you go 10, 20, 30, 30 for 3. Sometimes I've gotten 30 for 6. If I've gotten 3 of the same kind, where another player lays down 10, he's got a 10, he's got 20 for 2. I got another 10, I got 3. Examples like that. So when you play cribbage, you're just kind of dealt with the hand you got. And you kind of got to make that work. So, when it comes to cribbage, you have to do the best you can at counting the hand you have and making sure the points you get are the points that you have. That you counted all your points. That you made the most out of your points, and that there's not points the other player can play still. This has been my cribbage tutorial, and thank you guys. I'm glad to be back.